Today I will read a portion from Bhagavad Gita, although authority in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Gupta sir, former ambassador, Indian ambassador to Italy, is sitting here. But I will try to correlate it with the teachings of our Guruji, Masters and Swamiji. You know, the liberated souls, they are on a different plane in the ether. They don't take birth unless they desire. Master Paramahansa Yogananda ji, he said that he had completed all his karmas. There was no need to take birth, but he took birth with great special dispensation. What was that dispensation? To explain, for the interpretation of great scriptures like Bible and Gita, and to teach Kriya Yoga. Gita, as you know, one of the most famous spiritual book, directly came from Lord Krishna and revered, it's respected in all religions. I will read this stanza, which is very fascinating and it's really great. I like it very much. This is regarding divine love, the end of all observances. This passage is from 18th chapter, the 64th to 66th stanzas. Nay, but once more, take my last word. Please listen it very carefully with great devotion. Nay, but once more, take my last word. My utmost meaning have, precious thou art to me. Right well, beloved, listen. I tell thee for thy comfort this. Give me thy heart, adore me, serve me, cling in faith and love and reverence to me. So shalt thou come to me, I promise true, for thou art sweet to me. And let go those rights and duties, fly to me alone, make me thy single refuge. I will free thy soul from all its sins. Be of good cheer. What a great promise by Lord Krishna. He is giving the smartest way how to reach to him. You know, the different masters, they have given different teachings how to achieve God. But the ultimate goal is of all religions, all spiritual path is union to God. That is the ultimate thing. Like in Christianity, Moses has brought the law of commandments, that is do's and don'ts, do this, do not do this. Similarly in Patanjali, yam and niyams, they are also do's and don'ts. But Jesus Christ, he brought love. He said that love is supreme. That is the shortest and the smartest way to achieve God. And same is the teaching of Lord Krishna. So before Dayaji takes floor, I will take few more minutes. Love according to divine law itself is above any law. That is what Jesus said. So Jesus' teaching was not for those whose devotion was centered in the law. It was to those who were spiritually awakened enough to want personal relationship to God. The love is always personal, between one to one. Every one of us must have experienced love in his life. Love is magical. When you fall in love, you just forget anything. All the time you have image of your beloved in front of you. All shortcomings of your beloved is fasting. People do offerings. I read in newspaper that one big miner from Karnataka offered pendant of worth crores to Lord, some temple, Venkateshwara temple, or to whom you are offering. Suppose Bill Gates, you offer Bill Gates $100. What will Bill Gates think about it? You are offering to a God who is the honor, who is the creator of the universe. His worth cannot be counted. So all these offerings, what Lord Krishna is saying, that observance of formal religious observances higher than that of fasting, rituals, good deeds, charitable offerings, they are all nothing if you are following a straight path, love to God. The path referred to is that one pointed devotion to God. Gopis were very jealous of Radha. Why Radha is so much loved by Lord Krishna? It's a beautiful story, a small story. So, Gopis were always creeping that why Radha is so close to Krishna, and one day Krishna thought that they must be taught, they must be educated why Radha is close to him. So one day Lord Krishna sat below a Kadamba tree in the banks of Yamuna in Mathura and said that he is having severe headache, unbearable pain. And Radha was not there and asked gopis to comfort him. They started pressing his head. But Lord Krishna says that there is no relief. Relief will be only possible if you touch your feet, you press my head with your feet. And touching head of Lord from feet, it was not at all respected. It was not at all possible for gopis. They said that they will enter into great sin. How can they touch head of Lord with their feet? Then Radha was summoned. And when Radha saw that Lord Krishna is suffering with severe pain, she asked what to do. Then gopis told that the only solution, it seems, that you have to press his head with your feet, but it will incur sin to you. Radha said, forget sins. I will face 100 times of sins if my Lord gets relief by touching my feet, putting my feet on his head. So Radha put his feet on Lord Krishna's head. And this is the story which beautifully explains that what is love, what is devotion. This is all above all rituals. Another beautiful lines I would like to read. A path, however, should not be confused with its goal. The ultimate goal of all religion is union with God. The commandments of scriptures provide rules of behavior for people in various walks of life, simply that they may grow from ego attachment towards final awakening in the Lord. You know, the smile of Mona Lisa? There are several explanations of that. But you see the smile of Lahiri Mahasaya? This is devotion to God. This is an absolute bliss. This is the pleasure he is deriving by surrenderance to God. In this, probably I have brought the wrong papers, but in Gita is complete scripture which takes care of all human needs, human deeds, and teaches us the right way to the enlightenment. Thank you so much for listening.
I was thinking of the end of your Krishna Radha story, and I've also been reminded of the gopis chanting all night long, chanting loudly, chanting Krishna's name all night long. They don't know why he doesn't come. They're just chanting, chanting, chanting. And then Radha just whispers his name and He's by our side. So that's what we want to do. We want to whisper God's name and have Him be by our side. This subject of divine law and love transcending the law is such a beautiful one. And I was thinking of, the yamas and niyamas that Satya Prakash talked about. Moses brought the 10 Commandments, and Jesus said, you have taken, he said to the corrupt priests, you have taken these laws too far. You're now multiplying them and you're dictating them to the people, and they've lost all their meaning. Love is above the law. And he just said the 2 greatest commandments were, love the Lord with all thy soul, with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. And the second commandment, which was just as great as the first, is love your neighbor as yourself. And because, and Master said, love your neighbor because he is yourself. And Master used the example of the gas stove and how the gas tank down below is all one, and there's the gas coming out and it's all one, and yet it comes out in individual flames. But for us, we must know that the Lord is one and that He is manifesting as all of us. And so Jesus came to lift the Jews above the law. The Jews needed that law for a long time. They were in slavery. They were longing for a teaching, they needed a next step. And in their yearning, in their prayer, Moses, a master, descended and brought them out of slavery. But they had always been imposed by others what to do. They didn't know what to do. So here's the commandments. Learn how to behave. Learn how to behave. And we all need to learn how to behave. So Patanjali, he also brought yamas and niyamas. We talk about them, of course, deeply in Raja Yoga course, level 2. But one of the point we make of the yamas and niyamas in Raja Yoga is that it's our inner consciousness, it's our inner attitude and awareness that produces our outer behavior. So at first we learn, okay, don't lie, don't harm others, don't wish you had things that your neighbor had, speak the truth. And we learn these things, okay, I will do that. And the point is, if we take away wrong action, then right action will naturally emerge. But all of us here in this hall, I think we all are good people. We're all nice people. We're all kind people. And this comes very naturally to us. And so we might think, wow, I've attained some spiritual heights then, But it's so important that we, like Satya Prakash says, we don't forget about the goal. Because the goal is not just to be nice, just to be truthful. The goal is to become one with God's love. And when we become one with God's love, kindness is the only thing that's possible. It's not a behavior, it's who we are. And when we become one with the wisdom of God, then we don't have to try to tell the truth. Truth is the only thing that is emanating from us. And so we have to always move beyond the rules, move beyond where we have been before. We needed those rules before. We needed those guidelines before. But now we're becoming more and more aware that it's our consciousness that creates the world around us, that creates the opportunities for growth that show up in front of us on a daily basis. It's so important to come to satsang. It's so important to do meditation in a group. Why? Because if we're on our own out in the world, we may think, wow, I'm already such a nice person. And I already know the fact that my consciousness will affect everything around me, and nobody else around me seems to know that. So I have achieved something spiritually high. But it's always important to be around others who are higher up the mountain than you. The masters say, you have done so well, you're doing really great, but you've got a ways to go. You still have quite a ways to go. And whether it's reading the autobiography or words of the masters, words of Swamiji's, learning how to play harmonium, diving deeper in your devotion, in the consciousness of God and Gurus and Divine Mother, we know that we can always go deeper. Yogananda said it can always be deeper. And so find those ways that will help you go deeper. And Yogananda says that, I was in Chennai last week, I think some of you know that, and I woke up in my hotel room one morning, and it took me a good minute to figure out where I was. The curtains were closed, and it was dark, and I woke up thinking, okay, it's, Sunday morning, it's satsang, I've got to get going, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, I'm in Chennai, I don't have to give satsang, so it just woke me, and so it took me a full minute to sort of go from a deep sleep to full wakeful consciousness. Well, Swamiji says that the difference between our waking consciousness now and awaking in superconsciousness, that this waking from sleeping to wakefulness is not even a hint of the difference between normal waking consciousness and superconsciousness. Master said it's enjoyable beyond imagination of expectancy. Beyond imagination of expectancy. And that's our goal. And Divine Mother and these masters, they know what our goal is, and they're going to help us achieve it. In fact, that is such a grace, that they will help us achieve that goal. We may forget what our goal is sometimes, but they're going to help us remember. And it may not always be fun, because we may think, well, what a nice goal. I'll have a wonderful family, a big house, a functional business, and kids will be successful, everything will be great. And Divine Mother says, yeah, and that's my plan, that's my plan. But Divine Mother says, no, I have a different plan. I'm seeing the long-term perspective of your soul's evolution. And so I'm going to throw you a few wrenches in the middle of your plan so that you can grow strong and understand that it's not the material things in the world that are going to help you grow. You can have all of it, but your consciousness must be that God's presence is with you in every moment, that His light is what is filling your world, that His energy is what is flowing through you, that it's His will flowing through your willpower, that it's His love that's flowing through you to your family, to your friends. And the more and more we become aware of that, then Divine Mother, no matter what she gives us in order to meet the goal, as long as that awareness is there, some of it will be fun, some of it won't be fun, but we're going to reach that goal. And that is the entire point. And with the Gita reading also, Krishna, after 18 chapters of the Gita, of telling Arjuna what he needs to do, certainly that he needs to fight, but talking about rights, talking about yagyas, talking about all these things. He says, now I've told you everything. Now do what you feel to do. What love? What love? You do what you feel to do, because in the end, if you love me, you're going to be okay. If you love me and you feel my presence in everything, you're going to be okay. Absorb yourself in me. Be wholly devoted to me. Worship me. So you shall reach me. I promise you faithfully, for you are dear to me. Oh.